Buhari writes Senate President Bukola Saraki declines assent to 15 bills. Federal Road Safety Corps confirms 30% of drivers of articulated vehicles have vision problem. In international news, 4 dead, 30 missing as migrant boat sinks off western Turkey. And in sport, Libya to arrive in Uyo on Thursday ahead of crucial double-header against Nigeria in the 2019 AFCON qualifiers.
This is ANN News.
I am Olajumoke Olatunji. President Muhammadu Buhari has written to Senate President Bukola Saraki to express his decision to decline assent to 15 bills. After receiving the president's letter, the Senate on Tuesday resolved to set up a technical committee to review the bills that were rejected by the president. The bills are National Research and Innovative Council, National Institute of Hospitality and Tourism, among other bills. The Sokoto State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Ibrahim Magu Mahas, dispelled rumors going round that the party's 2019 election flag bearer, Manel Dan Iya, has been substituted for Governor Minu Tambuwa. Megoma explained that for now, Dan Iya remained the party's 2019 governorship candidate. The chairman said the party would formally announce any change within the electoral guidelines. Megoma explained that the event held on October 7 at the state party headquarters was to express Tambuwa's appreciation over the support he enjoyed at the PDP presidential primary election in Port Harcourt. The federal government has announced that beginning from Monday, October 15, it will commence the final verification and payment of entitlements to all former workers of the defunct Nigeria Airways. The government said the payments would last for 1 week and would be done simultaneously in Lagos, Kano and Enugu. The government stated, further revealed that beneficiaries were expected to come along with the following documents to the centers: letter of appointment, letter of confirmation, letter of last promotion, letter of retirement, identity card, other means of identification, and particulars of bank accounts. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has removed the Plateau State Commissioner of Police, Hundi Adi, with immediate effect. A statement by the spokesperson for the Plateau State Police Command, Matthias Topiev, announced this removal. Adi has been replaced with Austin Agbonlamo, who was until his appointment Commissioner of Police in charge of operations at the force headquarters, Abuja. Adi had earlier been removed by the IGP in June, barely 48 hours after the killing of over 200 persons in Birkenladi, Riyom and Jos South local government areas. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has set up a special team to interrogate Governor Ayodele Fayoshi of Ekiti State next week. Fayoshi, who has been governor since October 2014, will leave office next Monday. Fayoshi is expected to report at the EFCC headquarters in Abuja, with the Commission's Director of Operations, Umar Mohammed, after which he will be grilled by a team of operators. Fayoshi is under investigation for allegedly receiving more than 1.2 billion naira from a former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, through a former Minister of State for Defense, Senator Musili Obanikoro, during the build-up to the 2014 governorship election in Ekiti State. Fayoshi has also slammed a 20 billion naira suit against the EFCC. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to transfer all cases involving the agency and its acting chairman, Ibrahim Magu, from Justice Binta Yako to any other judge in the court. In the letter of authority signed by Magu, the anti-graft agency gave reasons for this application to avoid bias and conflicts of interest, as the commission is currently prosecuting the spouse and stepson of his lordship, Admiral Murtala Nyako and Senator Abdulaziz Nyako. Justice Nyako had adjourned all matters involving EFCC and its acting chairman indefinitely. Hundreds of passengers were as early as 6 a.m. as protesting aviation unions shut down operations at the Murtala Muhammad Airport 2 operated by Bicotney Aviation Services Limited. Reports say the unions embarked on the protest, alleging the company's sacking of 20 employees. The protesting unions are the National Union of Air Transport Employees, Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, and the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers. The protesters defied court orders restraining them from embarking on the protests. Senior workers at the National Health Insurance Scheme are asking once again the Executive Secretary of the scheme, Usman Yusuf, to step aside again after accusing him of fraud. At a press briefing in Abuja, the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria at the NHIS restated some of the alleged misconduct. Yusuf was suspended from office last year and accused him of refusing to turn a new leaf since his reinstatement. The Executive Secretary was suspended by the Minister of Health, Isaac Adewale, in July 2017 over alleged gross misconduct and fraud. The minister then set up a panel to investigate the allegations. The panel allegedly indicted Yusuf on most of the allegations and recommended sanctions, following which the minister forwarded the reports to the presidency. Federal Road Safety Corps says about 30% of drivers of articulated vehicles have vision problems and can hardly see it well at night. Corps Marshal Oyeyemi Boboye said this was the outcome of a recent research conducted by the Corps following frequent road accidents involving trailers, tankers, leading to loss of lives. Oyeyemi says the FRSC had lost 74 of its officials as a result of reckless acts of some drivers in the last 18 months. With a vision test conducted by the scheme, FRSC has also expressed worry about the high rate of accidents involving tankers, trailers, attributing about 85% of the road crashed to human errors. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has suspended trading in shares of 6 listed companies. The head listings regulation Godstime Iwenakai, in a statement on Monday, notified members of the suspension, which is said was in pursuance to Rule 3.1, rules for filing of accounts and treatment of default filing. Iwenakai said the rules provided that if an issuer failed to file the relevant accounts by the expiration of the call period, the exchange will send to the issuer a second filing deficiency notification within 2 business days after the end of the call period. Iwenakai also said that trading in the issuer's securities would be suspended, after which the Securities and Exchange Commission and the market would be notified within 24 hours of the suspension. Coming up, African stories, and later, 4 dead, 30 missing as migrant boat sinks off western Turkey.
You are watching ANN.
If you know fit go internet or follow for Twitter, you know fit snap photo send or get it photo send. Now because you dey use Palasa, your phone no dey answer. See me see wahala. My brother, go get smartphone, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone wey no go for your hand, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone wey no fit take selfie. Drop that Palasa phone. No be correct phone, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone.
Upgrade to a smartphone today and get double data for 6 months on any MTN data bundle you buy. Simply purchase a smartphone from any store, anywhere in Nigeria, or bring your current smartphone from any network. Insert your MTN SIM card to start enjoying your double data bonus. Offer is open to all new and existing MTN subscribers. Join the largest smartphone movement today.
Make it not for your hand, that's Palasa phone.
Welcome back. This is NN News. Now stories from the African continent. Ivory Coast Health Ministry says on Tuesday almost 400 tons of fake medicines have been seized over 2 years in the main city, Abidjan, known for counterfeit drug. Roadside medicines are reputed to be cheaper. World Health Organization reports counterfeit medicine is the scourge of Africa and the cause of around 100,000 deaths annually in the continent. The Switzerland-based World Economic Forum estimates the illicit sector has a turnover of at least 10% of the world pharmaceutical business, meaning that it earns tens of billions of dollars a year. It's added that the figure has nearly tripled in 5 years. The WHO estimates that 1 out of 10 medicines in the world is fake, but the figure can be as high as 7 out of 10 in certain countries, especially in Africa. Specialists in South Africa have established a database that can help identify blood diamonds, leaving illegal diamond traders nowhere to hide. The Kimberley process was set up in 2000 to prevent so-called conflict diamonds from entering the market. A group of industry specialists have met in Johannesburg to look at the gains made in preventing the use of precious stones to fund conflict. There are still parts of Africa that are mining conflict diamonds and attempting to integrate them into legitimate diamond streams. Speaking of their efforts to identify these conflict diamonds, Mark van Bokster, chairman of Kimberley Process Diamond Expert Working Group, said that technological tools are needed.
We identify diamonds that are coming from the Central African Republic, and can we do that when they are basically sitting inside shipments from other participants? So we are trying actually to get all of the technological tools in line to actually do that.
What we're now especially working on, can we identify diamonds that are coming from the Central African Republic, and can we do that when you're basically sitting inside shipment from other participants? So we are trying. Angolan authorities said on Tuesday they have returned more than 180,000 illegal migrants from the Democratic Republic of Congo across the border since the start of the security crackdown last week. More than 10 persons have been reported killed. Angola's operations against the migrants triggered clashes between Congolese security forces and local Angolans, largely in the northern province of Lunda North, which shares borders with DRC. Authorities added that 800 foreigners from DRC, Lebanon, Mali and Nigeria have been arrested for involvement in the illegal diamond trade in the area. He said 120 trading premises had been closed and 30,000 diamonds seized. Mozambican police have arrested a Chinese citizen at Maputo International Airport as they attempted to smuggle 9 rhinoceros horns out of the country. The horns were discovered when the suspected trafficker attempted to check in his suitcase. Maputo City Police Command spokesperson Orlando Madmen says the 49-year-old Chinese citizen, whose name was not revealed, had wrapped the horns in aluminium foil and hid them among foodstuffs in his luggage. The police are trying to find the others who may tell them where the rhinos were killed. The final destination of the Chinese citizen was Vietnam, where there is a thriving rhino horn market. This is the 4th seizure of rhino horns in Maputo this year. The UN has warned Algeria to immediately stop collective expulsions of African migrants across its border with Niger. Right groups have accused Algiers of rounding up and expelling thousands of people to the desert. International Organization for Migration figures show Algeria has sent back more than 12,000 Nigerians since the start of the year. UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights for Migrants Felipe Gonzalez Morales said in the report these collective expulsions from Algeria to Niger are an utter violation of international law. She called on the Algerian government to abide by its international obligation and halt immediately all collective expulsions of migrants. A China-invested tomato paste and mineral water producing factory in the Gambia has created plenty of employment opportunities for local residents, improved local life and boosted the country's national economy. The factory located in West Gambia, the Gambia and Angola China Global Group, was launched in August with an investment of millions of dollars. It provides processed tomato paste for the local market that is known for its high dependency on agriculture and helps to improve the life of Gambians. To ensure the quality and safety of product, GACH also set up a mineral water plant for sterilization of the tomato paste packaging. According to Abubakar Jawara, CEO of the factory, this plant is the first one in Gambia built to empower the youth and discourage them from illegal migration.
A lot of my partners are Chinese, and then a lot of Gambians also live in China. We want to try to, to adapt Chinese, Chinese style, to see whether we can put more industrial in Africa, to create employment, to add values. So that is our philosophy.
Up next, international stories. 4 dead, 30 missing as migrant boat sinks off western Turkey. And later, sport. Libya to arrive on New York Thursday ahead of crucial AFCON qualifiers against Nigeria.
You are watching ANN.
If you know fit go internet or follow for Twitter, you know fit snap photo send or get it photo send. Now because you dey use palasa, your phone no dey answer. See me see wahala. My brother, go get smartphone, yeah. Drop that palasa phone. Phone wey no go for your hand, yeah. Drop that palasa phone. Phone wey no fit take selfie. Drop that palasa phone. No be correct phone, yeah. Drop that palasa phone.
Upgrade to a smartphone today and get double data for 6 months on any MTN data bundle you buy. Simply purchase a smartphone from any store, anywhere in Nigeria, or bring your current smartphone from any network. Insert your MTN SIM card to start enjoying your double data bonus. Offer is open to all new and existing MTN subscribers. Join the largest smartphone movement today.
Make it known for your hand, that's palasa phone.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News on the international scene. Today is World Mental Health Day, which is observed on October the 10th every year. The overall objective is to raise awareness of mental health issues around the world and mobilize efforts in support of mental health. The day provides an opportunity for all stakeholders working on mental health issues to talk about their work and what more needs to be done to make mental health care a reality for people worldwide. This event in London, Mad World Forum, gathered experts from every sphere to mark the day. The World Health Organization says half of all mental illness begins by the age of 14, but most cases go undetected and untreated. In terms of the burden of the disease among adolescents, depression is the third leading cause. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29 years olds. Harmful use of alcohol and illicit drugs among adolescents is a major issue in many countries and can lead to risky behaviors such as unsafe sex or dangerous driving. Eating disorders are also of concern. Here are some of what they had to say at the World Forum in London.
You need to pray. There's almost a balance that we need to find a balance that actually works and that can actually encourage people to take ownership of their mental health and go seek the necessary support that they need. And I just found that within my research, lots of people were struggling because people around them weren't encouraging them to do that.
I think what's more worrying is the sickness absence figures, not because they're high, is because that's no longer a good indicator of a problem. And the reason it is people are feeling so job insecure, they come to work ill.
One of the positive effects might be with meditation. So you can put on a headset and you can play a meditative experience, and it takes you from being in a really stressful place or maybe really het up or about something to a much calmer, serene place.
If you feel like you don't want to leave the house, you don't want to get dressed, you're probably suffering with depression, come and speak to us. I mean, when my son was ill, we were isolated because they said he was crazy. It's witchcraft. Take him to the church. So therefore that causes the issue around, that situation.
And we had to get going in 2015 because we had a marathon in 2017 and we had to announce who we were in early 2016. So we went from blank sheet of paper to what are we going to do about this? And the great thing about that was the experience of putting together basically an umbrella campaign of multiple charities and then picking what we could do in this space.
When we return, Libya to arrive in New York on Thursday ahead of crucial AFCON qualifiers against Nigeria. Stay with us.
You are watching ANN.
MTN gives 2,000% bonus for reactivating your MTN SIM. That's right. If you haven't used your MTN SIM for 45 days or more, recharge now and get 2,000% bonus. That's right, 2,000% bonus for your first recharge of every month.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow this story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
There is a new all-news network on the scene in Nigeria to give news from a purely news perspective and to promote free information flow across Africa. Fresh views, unbiased, bold, with a purely African view. African News Network, ANN, in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is NN News and Sport. Nigeria's amputee football team is in a race against time to enable funds to enable its players to take part in the amputee World Cup slated for late October in Mexico. The team has missed 3 previous editions of the World Cup because it lacked funds. This time, it is determined to make it and the players are training hard for the tournament. To participate in this World Cup, the team needs more than $100,000 to cover the cost of sending 15 players and 5 officials to the tournament. With no government funding, they're struggling to raise the money on their own.
Okay, we're training, we're working hard, but we've not gotten anything to support ourselves in time of movement. The boys are training, they are ready, they are fit to be able to showcase themselves.
Well, Libya will be in Nigeria, Uyo precisely, on Thursday ahead of the AFCON qualifiers with Nigeria. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful. And that's it on ANN News this evening. Thank you very much for watching. For details on this and other stories, visit our website, annafrica.net. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Have a pleasant evening.